Hi, so I'm going to do the Potato Lab setup, and so I've already cut some of my potatoes into cubes, and I just thought I would start out with that. I feel like I'm at culinary school here, and I'm a bad culinary school person here, so what I did is I just first started off with making 2 straight edges, and my potatoes were kind of small, so I'm doing the 2 centimeter cubes instead of the 1 inch, because I did the first one using the 1 inch and it just was not big enough. So I'm going to just square off the edges and then do, oops, if you can see me not cut my fingers, 2 centimeter cubes, and I have a waste container over there. And I'm just going to try to do this safely and quickly without injuring myself. So I just kind of score it to mark it. And then, again, just cut off a straight edge, my trash container. Then I have my little ruler lined up at 2 centimeters. Looks better. So one of my first ones was not quite straight. So that's good enough. So I have my, they're supposed to be all the same size. They are, they're just a little crooked. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potato cubes. This one looks really off. 2 1/4 centimeters. A little knobby roundage. All right, so that's better. So I have my potato cubes with my trusty handy dandy ruler. Now I'm gonna make my salt solution. So my first one, 0, you can read that, 0 molar molarity. So this, we're just adding 1 cup of water. They all get 1 cup of water. So if you want to do that part first, just put 1 cup of water. Ooh, it's really close. To each of my bowls here, my rainbow assortment of bowls. So there's my 1, my 0.16. So I labeled them ahead of time so that I can have them in order. Like it's a waste of my filtered water. You can just use tap water. Tap water is fine. Whatever type of water you use on one bowl, make sure you use the same type of water on all of the bowls. All right, so I got water in all my bowls. For my first one at 0 molarity, 0 salt, there, it's all done. I threw in a potato and we're done. For the next one at 0.16, it says to put in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So here's my 1/4 teaspoon measure. Oops. I got salt all over the place, which is why I'm not working over my bowl. Just smooth off the surface, throw that in. The next one, it says 1/2 teaspoon. So I'm just gonna go up in my measurements and do my 1/2 teaspoon. And then my next one at 0.47 is 3/4 teaspoon. So I'll do one of my, shake it off, make it nice and even there. Got salt all over my stovetop. Okay, so I got 3/4 there. And then in my 0.63, I place a whole teaspoon. A whole teaspoon measure. And throw that in. And then as the directions say, when you're mixing the salt, start with your lowest salt concentration. So I'm going to mix that up. You could rinse off your spoon in between. And then stir the next one. You just want to stir it until it looks like it's mostly dissolved. That first one, my green bowl with my lowest salt, mixed pretty easily. It's all dissolved, so I'm going to go ahead and plop in potato number 2. And shift them out of the way. I really should have used bigger containers. These are, if any of my kids run into it, there's going to be salty potato water everywhere. All right, so this one I've been mixing a few seconds. It looks dissolved, and you're just going to plop in your next potato slice. And we're going to slide the camera over, and then you can continue mixing with the next concentration. Is it 0.47? Yes. When you get to this one where you added 3/4 of a teaspoon and the one where you added a whole teaspoon, it takes a little bit longer, but you just dissolve that, plop that in there, move that out of the way. And again, you can rinse your spoon in between, just salt, and then mix the last one. So I'm going to take a little bit. So the purpose of this first step here is that we have now created different saltiness of the waters for these solutions. And our potatoes are all the same chunk, roughly the same potato size. Mine are a little bit trapezoidal in nature instead of cubes. But once you have all of your saltwater potatoes dissolved, I'll line them up better sequence here. I cannot leave them here on my stove, so I'm going to move them over on the bookshelf. You can see that they have dissolved pretty good. You just have a potato floating in water. And let's see, it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my time. And so in 8 to 10 hours, I should have thought ahead, because this means at 10 o'clock tonight, I should be pulling out my potato chunks sometime between 10 p.m. and midnight if I follow the 8 to 10 hour thing. If you set them up and you're not able to pull them out of the water at the right time, what you can do, which is the potato and salt, is, you know, take your little potato cube, put it in, I have like a little plastic cup, you know, put it in a little plastic cup with like wrapper on top, or even a plastic bag, and just set it aside until you're able to measure. So like at 10 o'clock tonight, if I don't feel like coming in here, picking out my potato cube and then measuring, is it still at 2 centimeters or whatever, I can set them, like put them in a baggie, separate baggies labeled, and in the fridge for later, or just go ahead and measure. When you're all done, you're just basically going to measure your potato cube, and you can throw it away and dump your potato salt water down the drain, and that's it. So I will post a second video with part 2 of our potatoes and salt water, and hopefully they change in size. We shall see. So to be continued.